Hello and welcome to the Slip Slip Sis podcast. My name is Che
I'm Gabz.
and this is episode 18, verified 3 seconds ago. And we are coming to you from one half is Southern California, the other half is Northern California. Today is
Not
Saturday.
the Rose City Yard Crawl.
We are not at the Rose City Yard Crawl. We are not coming to you from Portland, but we'll probably do that in news ?
Yeah.
But it is Saturday, February 25th. You can find us on Ravelry as Slip Slip Sis, and then on Instagram as slip.slip.sis. And I think I got it. Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna I have a bit of a cold. Actually, I have a lot of a cold. So I want to say Chaley's at like 63% capacity right now. So we're making it work.
Yeah.
Crafter's gonna craft. So I know you have hecka FOs. So I only have 2.
Do you want to just do your 2?
All right.
What you got?
Okay. I finished these. I think I showed last time. These were, I was calling them my ocean DK socks, and that's because the colorways ended up being ocean kind of themed. I have no idea what the magenta is. It's a mystery to everybody. I'm pretty sure I used it on my Dino Roar sweater and it was a mystery then. Continues to be a mystery to us now. But I did hold 2 yarns double for the majority of the sock, and I did the Knit Picks Hawthorne Kettle Dye Poseidon, and then the other colorway is Cocoa Beach, which is from Old Soul Fiber Company. I just did vanilla socks. I did US size 3s. These are part of my I only want to do DK socks because they go really fast theme for the year. So these babies, I think it only took me a day to make these. And then if you've been watching for a couple episodes, you saw that Gabz and I are doing a sock swap, and we both did every month we do the same pattern. And so this month's for February was the Sweetheart Socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. And what we didn't agree on at the beginning of this was the weight of the yarn for the socks. And Gabz knew I wanted DK because I'm in a DK kick. So she gave me DK, but all of our patterns we've chosen are for fingering. So I had to adapt it, but it ended up eating up a lot more yarn than if we had just done vanilla, totally fine. But because it was like kind of cable-y and had fancy stuff, it ate up a lot of yarn. So the socks are a little small for me. So that would probably be a gift for someone else. But we loved this pattern so much. I think it's by far one of my favorite Crazy Sock Lady patterns. So I also get the Yarnable. And this month's Yarnable I thought would be perfect in it because I also am getting DK from the Yarnable. So we had already figured out how to adapt Kay's pattern for DK. So I just made myself the Sweetheart socks so that there's enough for the foot and enough for the leg that it fits me perfectly. So the Yarnable colorway is called Love Language. And again, these are the Sweetheart socks, and it's super easy to memorize, flies off the needles. So I love this one. I'd probably do it again.
It was a great pattern. I loved it too. That is one of my FOs because I don't think I've shown mine.
I don't think so.
No, I have finished many.
Yeah, girl.
And they it wasn't even like they were all close to the end. I just trucked on them. I don't know if I got faster. And I think it is that I've gotten faster because when you do something a lot, you just get better and faster at it.
Right.
I also think it's because I've been knitting on my prep at work. I'm a teacher. So I've been knitting on my prep and at lunch. So I'm I've got so many. I'll do my Sweetheart socks too. Let me get my sock blockers. Look how convenient that was. So these are from Chaley. I loved them too. I loved them so hard. It was ridiculous how hard I loved the yarn. I loved the pattern. These are by far my most favorite that I've done. And so mine this is Fuzzy Whatnots mini skein that Chaley and I won last year in her Across the Whip line cal. hold on. It's Sparkly Stellina Ballet Boss from Forbidden Fiber Company. Mine's fingering weight, so I actually was able to follow the pattern because my sister follows directions a lot better than I do. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel and then just the toe in the pattern. So I love them. I have 2 of them. They are done. Obsessed. Obsessed with it. If you're gonna buy any crazy sock lady pattern, it's this one. It's actually, I think the pattern is like done in variegated. Like I think her cover photo. So you don't
Yeah.
see the cabling as nicely as you do because the yarn is kind of like a little bit more I don't know, adorned or something.
But
But
it's like not even a cable. That's the thing is you don't even need a cable needle. That's what I loved about it.
it's dope. It's dope. You should do it. We are in no way sponsored, affiliated, or anything by the Crazy Sock Lady. We just really like. We're not really sponsored or affiliated. We just like stuff. Okay, so I finished those. I guess I'll do all my socks. Oh my gosh, hold on.
Oh dear.
I also finished, let's think, what order did I do them? I also finished another sock, cranked sock, which I crank on my sock knitting machine. I have an Erlbacher Gerhardt sock knitting machine. I love her. Her name is Geraldine. And I knit these. I think they look like Easter eggs.
They do look like Easter eggs.
I love it. I did a twisted rib 1x1. I like how 2x2 looks, but when I wear them, the 1x1 looks better on my leg. So I did the 1x1. Afterthought heel, I follow the Crazy Sock Lady tutorial and then a rounded toe. This yarn is Bumblebee Acres. I got from a D-stash, and the purple, I believe, is probably Earl Grey Fiber Company. That's where most of my mystery minis are.
When in doubt.
I think it was from the ball. It didn't have a ball band, so I'm thinking it's from her Flora and Fauna.
I don't have that one.
Oh, then I don't know. It's purple. I love purple. I realized I should say on my Erlbacher Gerhardt, I use the 54 stitch cylinder. That works for my feet when I cast on a 56 stitch for my regulars, my completely hand knit socks. I loved them. They came out super cute, Easter themed. They should have been for my mom, but I love them too much, so I'm keeping them for myself.
Nah, they're for you. Treat yourself.
Yeah. So I also finished another pair of cranked socks because Geraldine's, my sock knitting machine's a little bit hard to get out, and it's like more of like a process, like kind of like getting out a sewing machine where it takes up some space. So when I crank tubes, I crank a lot of them and then I knit them for a while. So I also have this tube done, which if you're like, Gabz, that looks very similar. Yes, it does.
So do you just do the whole skein of yarn, right? No.
Good question, Shaylee. Thank you for
Question
asking.
from the crowd.
Yes. On my Erlbacher Gerhardt, there is a row counter. So so you count the rows. So, but these are kind of tall. Like mine are tall. So oftentimes what I do is I do about 200-ish rows. So it gives me 100 rows for each sock. Plus if I need to rip a little bit out or something like that. So 200-ish depending on the skein. So it's about half the skein. And then I usually just give you the other half of the skein. That's why I don't crank the whole tube. Because these are really tall.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's because my foot is very smallish there. My foot, I think, is only like 42 or 48 rounds. So then up here gets tall, but sometimes I have problems cranking it. And when I wear them, I do this with them. So they're like,
leg warmer. Or
they're like leg warmer scrunchy socks.
Warmer.
I don't remember what this colorway is because I gave it to my sister in one of her sock swaps. So she doesn't know, she can't look it up either because I gave Shaylee's ball pan. But this is from D-Stash for Good.
It's very pretty.
Which is a D-Stash auction for charity. And I have this, I think this is Earl Grey Fiber Company as well. Do you have this?
I don't know.
Yes. Earl Grey Fiber Company. And then this cute little heel here, I don't know what its actual name is, but my sister named it. It's
It
called,
didn't have a name. It was from the Molly Klein Sweet Tea Yarns Advent.
so it's called, she called it Mint No Chip because it was like a candy, sweet treats theme for the Advent she made. It's cute. I think it goes
I'm
really
so
cute.
funny.
Yeah, it was the best name she did. This skein was a 10-gram skein, so it wasn't enough for heels, toes, and cuffs, of course, and I never weigh things. So that's what's happening here. In hindsight, I could have made these shorter and used this yarn for like the cup. I could have done that, but did I do that? No.
Yeah.
I no, because
Well,
did
that's
I
why
weigh
you use
things?
up more of your yarns, right?
Yeah.
Because
Did I? No, I didn't do that at all. That's fine. So those are my two cranked socks that I made finish. Um, to be fair, they go way faster than hand knit, obviously, but I like it. I still think it's part of the knitting community. Most of the time, crank socks don't get entered into knit alongs because most of the time knit alongs are for just hand knits, but that's okay. Maybe we'll do a cranked knit along this summer because there's
it's
a learning
also
curve.
like the machine is kind of expensive, right?
Oh, it's most definitely expensive. There's the one that I have, I think it's about $2,000 now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's got about a 16 to 18 week waiting list. So
Oh
this
my
is like,
God.
yeah, the price point, the barrier to entry is quite high. My husband bought it for me in the depths of the pandemic. He bought it for me in like October 2020. We hadn't gone out to eat in a very long, like we'd done nothing. I think I've talked about it before. I was having a very challenging breastfeeding journey in the depths of my postpartum depression. So he's like, look what I got you. And I'm like, oh, cool, thank you.
I remember
Um,
him texting me and sending me all the different colors.
yeah, mine's yellow. She's a bright, cheery little happy yellow.
I
So
do like the yellow.
um I like there are other more affordable is a loose term for sock knitting machines. There's a 3D printed one from Dean and Bean, which I think retails for about $300-400. It's quite
Right.
pricey. Like that's all it is it's a lot, it's expensive. Lots of people really like the 3D printed ones. I believe it's plastic or acrylic, so theoretically in the long run it may not hold up as well because it's not metal, but it's still a great thing. I wouldn't own more than one. Honestly, they take up a lot of space, but I like it. The Erlbacher Gear Hearts they're really sturdy. Like some people have some, like the original Gearhart sock knitting machines. Some people have them from like the 1900s, like early 1900s. They've lasted 120 years. They're like, so fingers crossed that my girls want it so it doesn't become ridiculous. But I like it. Maybe I'll do we'll do a video of cranking.
I feel like it'd be fun to just like show up with like 5 skates and be like, let's just crank all these suckers.
Oh, it goes super fast. Like it's maybe 10 minutes to crank the whole tube. So it's
And then
fun.
you just put in all the like heels and stuff. I think maybe we should do that for one like a weekend retreat.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I really like doing it with a variegated yarn because you get to like kind of watch the sock be born because you're like, ooh, what's this variegate doing? It's not that fun for tonals. Like I would definitely wouldn't do it for tonals because
Will you let me do one on a self striping? And
yeah,
that was
that's
kind
fun
of
too.
fun.
That's fun too. So it's for, I think, at least for me, it's more exciting with the more like busier yarns that you would use for vanilla anyway, right? Like I use my tonals for pattern stuff, which I obviously can't do.
Or like
You
color
can
work.
you can get very fancy on this thing. Like I'm beginner level. You can like you can make the whole sock. Like you can make the cuff, the heels, the toe. You can make baby hats. Somebody made leggings on
Wow.
theirs. Like you make baby clothes. I think you can make like a sweater. I don't know. I do not know, but it's you can get.
Varsity.
Yeah, I'm a baby sock cranker. Like it's a time investment too. I do not recommend it if you are crunched for time in any sort of way. So there's that. These are fully hand knit. These are my all tied up socks that are going
Explain
into
tide. Explain tide.
so tied, like tied in the ocean. It's a like a nautical maritime theme for the socks. I'm doing them for the fiber company. I'm going to be one of their kits in June, which is super exciting. So it's got this really fun, like wavy cabling. It is cabling. It's a twisted cable. It's not that hard though. Like it's definitely more than a vanilla sock, but they whip up pretty quick because the cable repeat is pretty long. So like if you're like, oh, if I just do one cable repeat a day, you're done in like 4 days. Because well, if you have tiny feet, maybe if you like probably 5 days for one sock. This was my original swatch. It is knit in Daisy Stitch Company. It's got this really cute speckling. I love how it's like real speckly. It's like pinks and greens and blues. And I did a traditional heel flap and gusset, like is in all our sock patterns. It's cabled on the front and stockinette on the back, twisted rib. So it's going into testing on March 1st. It'll probably come out in the middle of May. Chaley is slowly trying to go away from casual. So I finished these two. The first one was in the beginning. I knit over the summer. And then the second one I just finished because when I submit my sock designs or my sister sock designs to publications, I just knit the sock because they're like, because for publications when you have to swatch anyway, and I'm like, why am I swatch? I'm just gonna knit the thing so then they can see the whole thing on what it's gonna look like. And I do have to say, since I started knitting the whole sock, my designs have become or have a much higher acceptance rate, which that's kind of how things are. Like I'm in theater when the costumer draws the actor who's portraying the role in their rendering, the rendering like you get a better response, right? Because you're like, oh, I can totally see this on this person instead of like a faceless rendering, right?
Right.
So that's what I did. These are done. These are not for me because I have determined that heel flap and gusset doesn't fit my feet that well.
Are
So
you doing mom?
yeah,
Nice.
these are part of mom's anything but brown sock gift. I don't know, sock gift.
Non-brown, not brown.
Yeah. And you're like, Gabz, that's a lot of finished objects. That was 4. Nah, girl, I'm not done.
4. Oh yeah, 4.
Yeah. I have this
Remember
is
how you were like, I'm not gonna make any more socks for myself. I have too many socks.
lies, sleep in a bed of lies. This is both an acquisition and a finished object. What?
An
So
aquafo.
an aquafo. Oh, this looks really cute on camera.
It does.
It looks
You did something different, huh?
yeah. Let me thank you for asking. See how my sister's good at like serving
Prompting.
Molly up for me to explain. So on Thursday, I went to Uncommon Threads in Los Altos and stayed in the shop for a very long time. And like I was by myself, hemmed and hawed over if I wanted this one blue skein of yarn that they had in the discount bin. I did. I bought it. So this is Rowan Big Wool. It is bulky. And I cast this hat on 4 different times because I really struggle with hats. They are very challenging for me. I do not know why. I first just wanted to do a muscle burra. So then I cast it on like this, like the top bit, right? And then I knit till it was 72 stitches wide. And I was like, this looks like it could fit my torso. I calculated my gauge and I was like, this is going to be a 36 circumference head. 36 inches. Most people have a 22 circumference head. That's not going to work either. Ripped it out. I went down to 56 and I was like, okay, this is better. No, like 26 circumference. And I was knitting it and the fabric it was creating was really dense and it was hurting my hands because I was using US 7s on bulky yarn because of my big gauge. Well, that was a mistake. So I was like, so then I ripped it all out again. And of course, I'm in a frenzy and I'm upset because my gauge isn't going well. And Shaylee and I didn't get to go to the Rose City yarn crawl and my things just aren't working out for me. So
every time you make a hat.
Every time I make
not
a hat,
even like intricate hats, like straight up stockinette hats. I have a garter hat that you started like 19 times.
Yeah. So then I was like, F this, and decided I wasn't going to do top down. I thought that was my problem, right? Because I wasn't getting to check the gauge until I knit so much. So I was like, okay, we're going to do brim up. So then I cast on 34 stitches because I was like, I swung the other and I went up to a US 11. I was like, cool, this is great. I put it on. I was like, this circumference is 12 inches. This will not even fit my child. So I ripped it out again. And I was like, and then after all of this, I thought to myself, do you think you should maybe follow a pattern? So then I went on to Ravelry, and then I cast on the Frost and Rhyme hat. I went down a needle size. It calls for US 13s. I went down to 11s, which seemed fair and reasonable because of my gauge. And then I followed the pattern, and then look how
it worked out perfectly.
It turned out. Like, isn't that silly when you follow the pattern?
You're a menace.
So this was me. It's a tubular cast on, which I actually really like. I thought it looked very professional.
Put on your head. Oh, it's cute. Side view.
Or you can also do
options.
Yeah.
A twofer.
Yeah, I thought it was because, like, if you have a bigger head than me, right? Most people do. You can do this, but this looks silly on Gabz. So yeah, I thought it came out really cute. It is a gift. My daughter wants it desperately, but it's not for her.
Oh, is it you're still giving it to Jean?
So I'm gonna have to knit her something else, but it came out, it's got this really cute little ribbing
I like
situation.
that.
It was
looks kind of seed stitchy.
It was super easy. It is a free pattern by, I'm not sure how to say her name, Dammy Hunter of it was published in Magpie Fibers, but it is a free pattern. It was super, if you follow the pattern, it's like a 2-hour knit. If you do not follow the pattern, that's on you, and it takes you like 8 hours to knit a simple hat that you have to rip out 3 times. That's all. It's completely me. So hats are really challenging for me for no good reason. Like, I don't know why. They're essentially just socks with a toe, right? Like, that's all they are. Like, none of the techniques are challenging, right? I do all of these techniques in sock knitting, right? It's just decreases or it's increases if you do like crown down. So I knit this, but I really like it. It's also my new plan for acquisitions is I knit the acquisition as soon as I get it, because then that's like, I was stoked to get it, right? So instead of just like, look at this cool thing I got, and now I'm going to put it on the shelf for 6 months and then forget why I bought it, I cast this sucker on and I got it on Thursday. It's done. It's Saturday morning.
Woo!
So you're like, that's good knitting, Gabz. There's more. There's more.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, this one's a tiny, tiny little FO. It is the tiniest little FO in the history of FOs. Let me find it for you in my bag. Oh, I'm like, we'll talk about my bag when it comes. Yeah, see, I'm like yammering on about everything. Okay, look at my teeny tiny FO. Okay. So it's a yarn cozy.
Oh God. I was like, what I think that looks like is not podcast appropriate.
No, it's a yarn cozy. So Mad Cow Mandy just released one of her yarn cozies, and a yarn cozy pattern. It's for 20 gram, 50 gram, and 100 gram minis. Not even minis, 100 grams are regular skeins, but they're cozies. It's free on Ravelry. I think she calls it a ball sock. I think that's what she calls it. So I loved that Ballet Boss colorway so much that I made a cozy out of it so I could see it all the time. I made the 20 gram one. It looks silly because it's a ball that's in it, right? Not a cake. And it's the color of itself that's in it because I love it so much. I'm going to put it in my cozy memories. So I also made that. That took no time at all, but I loved it and I made it. And I wanted to shout her out because we always love supporting other designers. Her sock patterns are also free on Ravelry, so check it out. There are lots of yarn cozy patterns on Ravelry and that exist in the world, but this one I really liked. It's a 2x2 rib. And what I liked about hers, I haven't used the other ones yet, but what I liked about hers is she told you roughly how much yarn you would need to make that cozy. So like you could weigh, you could weigh your yarn and then be like, I don't have enough for the 50 gram, but I can make the 20 gram, right? I don't know what the other ones are. I don't know if the other ones have that or not, but I liked that feature a lot. It's super easy. It's a tube and then you squish the tube together. It's easy peasy, almost like a hat. Yet somehow I knit that without having to redo my gauge 50. But
Maybe it's because you follow the pattern.
You know, yeah, no. All right, my last one is the biggest one.
Woo!
I finished, y'all, my Stephen West mystery knit along. It's done. It's
You're gonna have to stand up, dude.
I know, I will, except my foot's asleep, so this is gonna. Whoop.
Oh yeah, baby.
I wanted to do pom-poms, but my pom-poms didn't go good, so I had to punt and do tassels instead.
I like your tassels are really poofy.
Yeah, I know.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I was watching TV.
What did you use to wrap it around?
Cardboard?
I used a book.
Well, I used cardboard so I could customize.
Um,
Yeah, no, I used cardboard. So I wanted to do pom-poms, like Pink Queen Yarns had theirs done with pom-poms, and I thought it was so cute. So then I made a pom-pom. I think I did it wrong because single ply yarn for a pom-pom did not go good. So my pom-pom looked like, and then I weighed it and I needed 21 pom-poms, but it was like 10 grams a pom-pom. And I was like, that's not gonna work. I don't have 200 grams of like yarn left over. So then I punted and made very juicy and thick tassels.
Plump.
Yes, it's really long. Like
I like it. It's very springy too.
Oh, I'm upset. I'm wearing it on Monday. I'm very excited. It's amazing. This would have been great for Portland had we been able to attend.
Everything we say. If only we were in Portland.
Yeah, I love it. It came out super cute.
How much extra do you have?
I had maybe 7 grams of this cream, which is Barnyard Knits. I have probably like 30 or 40 left of the solid like purple, which is Neighborhood Fiber Company. And then I've probably got 45 grams left of this green, which is Rebel Woolworks.
I really like that green.
I do too. I had enough. Definitely enough, but I don't know what I'm going to make out of it. I don't know what I'm making with the rest of it. Maybe I'll give the green to Chaylee because she likes it.
I like it.
So
I use it for my DK socks.
Yeah, you can hold it double with something.
Hold it with something else. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So those are all my.
Oh, God, 70 years later.
What do you have for whips?
I'm working on one right now, actually. And these are my little striper socks.
Well, those are cute.
Right? I already finished one. Scares me. Pardon me. So one is done. Yes. And it was basically kind of like a share a pair, but not a share a pair, which is Mandy Making's thing. But this is Lydia yarn, and it was a limited edition, non-repeatable, as it says on the label. It is the sock twist. You get color 1 and color 2. And so I did the Crazy Sock Ladies striping technique. I'm calling this the gray one. Pardon me, because this one I'm calling the pink one because it's going to have the pink contrast for it. And these are my favoriteest colors. I don't know if you can see because of the lighting, but my whole craft room is pink. Everything else is gray accent. So this is just the most Chaylee pair of socks I've ever had. And I have this in my Mean Girls bag, which my sister made for me, and my little piggy stitch marker, which are Michael, my sister's brother-in-law, made for us as well. So these are going pretty good, I'd say.
Those are cute. I like them.
I love the stripes. I feel like stripes keep me entertained, right? Because it like mixes it up. So I think these will be great little spring socks. Your turn.
How many whips do you have?
3.
Oh, I have 2. This is perfect. So the one that is in my hand right now is my test knit for Tristan Molina. It is the Nightshade Society test knit. I'm just on the neck, which I think is going to be okay. I'm cast on the size 3.
Well,
so
it's stretchy.
It's in testing right now. It's in her Moon Eater colorway, which is really nice and plush. I've determined that I like an 85-15, but most of my yarn is 75-25.
Crank those babies.
So I'm just on the cuff. It's super pretty. It's a very Tristan pattern, right? It's got a beautiful like sleeve detail going on, and then you have options to make it like cropped or full length. I'm going to go with the cropped because I have a lot of full length. I have a lot of full length going on. So I'm going to do cropped. I also only have 2 skeins of the yarn. So the pattern calls for sport weight, but I'm using fingering because of my gauge. I recommend actually using sport weight. And she recommends if you can't get sport weight to go up to DK because you want a denser fabric. But I knew that if I got sport weight or DK, then the darn thing wouldn't fit me. So look, I coordinate. Look how organized I am. What I have,
kind of witchy themed, on brand, on brand.
These are my Cookie and Bees yarn cozies. I have them here. I'm going to alternate skeins, but I don't alternate skeins when I'm doing ribbing because I think it doesn't like the join isn't seamless, and because it's so close to your neck, right? Like I feel like that's the portion that people see. So I'm just gonna pop in the second skein after I finish the short rows. And then it's in my Erin Lane Bags Stitch Please, which I love. So I just started that last night because I finished the hat and Jaylee's like, you can't only have one thing for the podcast in whips, Gabz. And I'm like,
well, I felt like I was behind because I was napping.
Yeah. I was like, fine. So I cast it on, which I needed to anyway, because the test is imminent, but I like legitimately only have the other whip I'm going to show you, and that's it. Like no other whips that I'm secretly, except for my Sophie's Universe crochet one, but we're not going to talk about
that. Feels like a 2024 problem.
Yeah, I mean, I cast it on in 2014.
It's like the 10-year reunion.
10-year reunion.
10-year reunion, if you will. I like it. It's cyclical.
Yeah. Like you go.
Okay, so I am making the Something Cozy by Shayna Billow, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's like the most cozy thing I will own. But I almost knocked something over. That would have been mine. This is in my float tote, which our dad actually I made I would say 80% of this. And then our dad made the rest of it. So the float tote is a pattern by Nitty Natty. And this is the back of my Something Cozy. And I am making the M/L size because technically the XS would have been fine for me, but I tend to have bulkier shoulders, and I was worried that the thing would be too tight on my arms and then it wouldn't be comfy. And I don't mind if like it's bigger around because I tend to wear oversized anyways for my style. It was kind of an experiment, I'm not gonna lie, because you're supposed to use boucle with like a mohair or a suri situation, but I didn't really want that because that felt too fluffy. So I'm holding mine with fingering, and I did a white boucle from Knit Picks, but the color I'm holding it with is obviously not white. And so it's kind of an experiment to see what kind of fabric it would create. And I think it's kind of cool because the extra ones are back there. Hold on, let's detach this. This is what the other yarn looks like. It's called Flannel by Earl Grey Fiber Company. And I think it's coming out kind of subtle. So it's not all white, right? Because I would have felt kind of like a polar bear or a fluff ball. And I think this kind of creates a cool kind of grayish red undertone. So that was kind of an experiment, and I'm happy with it. So I am making good progress on the back. I have about 9 inches. The pattern I think calls for 18, right, Gabs? But I'm probably gonna do a little bit shorter. Because Gabs was saying that Nitty Natty, when she made hers, she says like it kind of pulls it with the drape, and especially because I'm doing the bigger size, I don't know if I need it to be that long, so I'll probably measure around 14 to see, and I'll probably end up maybe doing like 16 inches for the back, and then I think it's pretty easy. After this, you just like literally do the front, and then I'll put it together and do the arms. So I'm pretty excited about this. I've never done a pieced sweater like this before. I've done bottom up, but I've never done it like where it's like front back mush. So I'll see. I'll see. I'll probably call my sister when it comes time to match her stitch because I don't know how to do that. But yeah, there's my something cozy.
I'm also planning on making this something cozy with my sister. This actually is my only pieced thing, which I actually think this is a good like amount of ease for myself. So
That's nice.
I'm gonna measure against this. This, what I'm wearing, is my very first sweater, which is why you can see that it had some severe issues. It's like the Weasley sweater. It's a free pattern. So I'm going to measure against this. I'm doing one as well, but of course have not cast on because I'm committing to only 1 or 2 cast ons.
But I feel like the blanket doesn't count.
Yeah. I
That's
just feel like
ongoing.
I feel like 2 sweaters might be too like,
That's a lot. I feel like one sweater at a time is funny.
Yes. So maybe if Trey and I cast on our DK socks, then we'll be
Oh
okay.
yeah, I'll get right on that.
So the only other whip that I have is in this super cool bag that my mother-in-law made me.
Oh, it's your friend's bag.
Yeah, it's a gigantic bag because my mother-in-law takes customization requests, which is fabulous. So it's a regular like box bottom bag, all of that. But
I mentioned one time, like one day that I was thinking about a backpack and she already sent me like patterns for like sewn backpacks and if I want like linen canvas or leather. And I was like, I didn't even remember saying this, but okay.
yeah, she makes really cute stuff, especially for like kids. She made my girls matching jackets, matching cat jackets. It's so cute. It's like fleecy on the outside cats. And she like paid attention to the detail so much that they've got pockets, but she made sure that the cat face was on the pocket. And then the inside is lined with also cat fabric. But when they cuff their sleeves, they can see the cat. So my girls go around like this looking at their cats.
Oh,
Which matches the cat dresses that she made.
of
So
course.
the lining fabric is the same as the cat dress. It's so cute. And they're in their 2 little cat coats with like the pointy, like elfin style hoods.
Cute.
It's adorable.
Next upgrade, ears on the hood.
Those are hard. The placement on
Those are hard. Yeah, no, and they're floppers. She's advanced though. Gina's advanced.
Oh yeah, and there's zippers. There's zipper jackets.
Oh, she's varsity. Yeah.
Yeah, varsity. So in my super cute friends bag, I bought this fabric and brought it home. I was like, Jean, can you make this for me? And she's like, mm-hmm. I have matching friends character pouches. In my friends character pouches are like they're zippered, right? And they've all got the same color fabric. Like one of them has like scraps in it that I've already used in the blanket. One of them has like my needles for the pattern. This is also my other acquisition. I got CHAOGOO DPNs. This is in my Monica bag. And then in my Rachel bag is all the scraps that I want to put in the pattern. I've got way more, but I have one more too. It's in the it's here, let me get it. It's Chandler. Come here, Chandler. It's Chandler, but I didn't need it in there. So I have 4 of the 6 friends characters and I couldn't find the fabric for the others and I'm so sad. I don't have Joey or Phoebe, and then my dad found it he found Joey and Phoebe for me, but it was a yard and it was like $20 a yard. And I like these are like fat quarters maybe. She also says she has enough for a second pouch of each of these. So I'm sad because I don't have the full collection of Friends, but I also wasn't paying like $40 for like this much fabric that I needed. So if one of our fabulous viewers has a lead on them, that would be great. That isn't like a bajillion dollars.
Yeah, Dad
I
was
got
in
them at
a deep eBay rabbit hole looking
yeah, I
for
got them at
fabric.
Joann's. So if you go to local Joann's and you remember, you're like, that chick on the internet wanted Phoebe and Joey. Let me comment on her Facebook video or on her YouTube video. It is, now that I've talked about my bag for like 10 minutes, it's my Cozy Memories blanket that I've been actually diligently making
Look at
because
you.
I'm obsessed with it. It's not Chase Jam. She's doing a granny stripe instead.
Gabz. I'm about to talk about that next.
She'll show you hers. So this I started here, and then I've been knitting. And
Good.
I don't understand. Some people are like, "Oh, I'm making mine 24 by 50." I'm like, "What?"
What's yours?
12,
12?
12 squares. Like 12 squares is 12 squares is 5 feet.
Okay.
So I know. So I just put in my Stephen West MCal scraps.
Oh, look at that. Oh, you put in the single ply.
I did
Okay.
because I decided I didn't care.
Okay.
I watched Nitty Natty's video about washing and what have you, and it's gonna be fine. No, I put in the single ply. But Che and I were talking last night because we've been talking to each other every night because we didn't get to go to Portland.
In case you didn't learn anything from this podcast, we didn't get to go to Portland.
I'm obsessed with this magic knot ball situation when you get to do like this one is a magic knot ball
too. God.
I call it my Franken balls, right? Like Frankenstein. And like this one too. I'm obsessed with them and I do them much differently than my sister does. I'm sure she's much more organized, but like all I do is any scrap of yarn, I just slap it in a magic knot ball. Even if it's like the tail off of a project, if it's longer than 6 inches, I just make it into the magic knot ball. That's how you end up with squares like this, which I really like. And it's going into my gigantic blanket and it's gonna be super cute and fun. I'm very excited. I'm gonna knit it 12 by 12 and see how it goes. Yes, Traylee.
What's your process for weaving in your ends?
I'm going to knit them all and then I'm going to pout about weaving in my ends until my sister offers to do them for me.
Noted.
I should weave them in. I should weave them as I go. But am I doing that? No. Am I going to start doing that? Probably not.
Okay.
I know. Well, I did the math and it's well, if I do 12 by 12, it's 144. So it's only 300 ends, which isn't that many in comparison to how many there were on my Stephen West MCal.
I think your math is off.
What, 144 times 2?
No, compared to your Stephen West MCal, there weren't that many.
There were so many.
Well, maybe because you didn't weave them in as you went.
Yeah, and maybe because I didn't follow the pattern on Clue 2's wedge and had to break my yarn all the time.
That's also what I did.
Yeah. No, I know I should weave them in, and I keep telling myself I'm going to weave them in, and then I don't.
It helps me because I have a use for the ends.
I give them to you.
Well, okay.
I'm trying to make Weave It In Wednesdays a thing, but
You're not gonna do that.
Well, we've had like 12 Wednesdays since I thought of it. And have I done it any Wednesday?
Yeah. Nice.
No, but my test knit is not gonna have that many ends because it's a sweater, right? So
yeah, but you never do the pits. Like you never weave in the armpits or this part because in the sweater that you gave me, I just had like ends. I was like, come on, Gabz.
Dude, I wear my socks and forget to weave in the ends, and then the yarn wraps around my toes throughout the day.
Usually I weave them in, but then sometimes I forget to snip them.
Oh, like on the socks that you gave?
Well, because I didn't want to snip it because I didn't want to lose the end because I want to use the end. and I had finished it on the air, like literally in the air.
Oh, right. And like you don't want to like you can have the small scissors, but I always feel like you don't really want to take out your sharp things in an airport.
Right.
Like it's fine. And I know people do it all the time, but I'm like,
My folding ones from that I
mhm,
got from Kay when she had her shop,
mhm.
those ones have never caused me an issue because they don't have like the blades out.
Yeah.
So those are my travel scissors.
I know some people use nail clippers too.
Sometimes I just rip it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not usually that likely to be finishing a project. I don't travel as nearly as much as Shaylee does.
Yeah.
So I would just bring like when we were planning on going to Portland, I was just gonna bring a big project that I knew I wouldn't have to snip until
I would have had scissors for you, my darling.
well no, they were in my big suitcase.
Ah, ready for my blankie?
Yeah, that is a loud bag. Where'd you get it?
Remember when we ran the
Oh yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it was like a 5K run by Hands Fun Hope. It was
Yes.
raising money, and I won the 5K by
Were
like
you first place or
I was
second place?
first place by like 6 seconds.
Oh, it
So
was
this
so
and you got like
close.
a gift card. So I got a $50 gift card, and I was able to get this really cool. I want to say tote. I don't know, but I think it's awesome. And that was also the thing is like it was holding my cozy memories, and I really wanted to like I didn't really want to work on my cozy memories, but I really liked my bag. Because it's got like plasticky inside
Oh, nice.
too. Isn't that cool? So I started a granny stripe blankers, which now I've lost where I was. So that's awesome. Good job, Che Che. I'm sure it was on one of the ends.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Are you the end? No. Oh, there it is. Okay, look at this, baby. So I followed what Kay cast on. So she cast on, yeah, right? You still cast on for crochet.
Yeah.
I cast on a 300. But what I didn't want to do was like a 300 chain because that's painful. So I did a foundation chain where it's like it's a chain plus a single crochet on top of it all in one, which makes it go a lot faster. Plus, I put my little markers every 50 stitches so they wouldn't have to go back and count. And so I am crocheting along this sucker until it feels more like a blanket instead of a strip. And this is the magic knot ball that I made for myself. And so what I did, well, my approach to the magic knot ball was I have this cool decorative kind of like glass thing where I put all of my tiny scraps in. And so I opened that up and I weighed all of my scraps and I did all of the ones that were 6 grams or less. And then those are what went into the magic knot ball. So this took me probably about an hour and a half to make. But they're all kind of different, but I'm liking it so far. I don't know why my soul rejected the cozy memories, but it was just like, no, this sucks. Like, I was like, I feel like I'm getting nowhere fast. I think it's because I'm not used to turning my work. So it was like slowing me down. I wasn't happy with it. So I just like made mine into a square shape, which I was going to give to my sister if we were in Portland, but we're not. Um, so I'll mail it to her. I just squared it off so that she could have it. And then decided I would do the crochet one because it's more fun. I don't know why it's more fun, but it like feels like I get to go along faster. I think a pretty good crocheter, so I could do that pretty quick. Especially with it being granny stripe, you don't have to be like you just go into the big hole, right? So you don't have to like be on top of every stitch. So I'm pretty excited about this, and it feels a little bit more like I switch colors faster, especially with it being in the magic knot ball.
Well, if you did 6-inch scraps in your magic knot ball, you would
Yeah.
you'd switch every stitch because crochet is
Okay.
like huge. So Chaylee's sending me her squared off cozy memories, and I was just gonna add it to my blanket, but then Chaylee cast on 40 stitches and I cast on 46, and our gauge is vastly different. So if it had been the other way, right? If I had done the 40 and she had done the 46, that would be okay. And mine is following the pattern. So it's going to have diagonal stripes up and down the blanket. CAE'S is radiating out like a star. So I decided that instead of trying to fiddle and make all that work, I'm going to make a pillow out of CAE'S. So I'm going to have a scrappy pillow because I think it's big enough. So I'm going to just knit the back piece and then do an I-cord edging for it. And
I think it's 4x4.
yeah. So I think it's going to be a cute little pillow. So then I'll have a scrappy pillow because on Instagram, I saw someone's really like cute scrappy craft room where they had like scrappy throw pillows and a scrappy blanket on their couch, and they like tucked their blanket into the couch. So the couch looked like it was upholstered scrappy, and then they had like a scrappy rug. And I was like, I want to do that, but I don't have a full couch. I have this chair. So I figured I would just drape my blanket over the chair and then have a scrappy pillow, and it would be cute. But
that would be cute.
I thought I was going to cast that on, but I didn't see my sister.
We're not in Portland. Do you have any acquisitions? I have one.
I have many because I took myself on a yarn crawl because we're not.
Oh, you're not putting that in your vlog?
Oh,
because I did all of my things I've acquired this week into my vlog.
Oh, then I can just do my true acquisitions and put the rest in the vlog. But I want to show you one. I'm just going to show you mine. I want to show you one that and I didn't put it in the vlog yet. So show me what you got, and I'll show you what I got.
Well, I put my stuff in the vlog already, so I only have one thing that's not vlogged acquired.
Okay, you go.
Okay, well, I got one thing from the D-Stash for Good, which was good because when at the start of it, I had 14 things that I was the high bid on. So D-Stash for Good is run by Gary of Gary Knits, Gary Rides. I believe all the proceeds go to the AIDS Foundation.
It's AIDS Life Cycle.
AIDS Life Cycle. So it's a cool, you can follow D-Stash for Good, and he does these silent auctions every couple of months, and you just basically bid on the things you want. Also, if you have stuff that you're de-stashing, then you can also enter that for something that can be donated if you want to do partial donation, etc. So I think it's really cool. And I was in kind of a frenzy when it first kicked off because he had like 400 things on there. So there was a lot of good stuff. But the only thing I got were these Felicis, which if pink and gray, how did I not need these? And maybe somebody else might want one because ask me what it's called.
What's it called?
Drama Club. Yeah, you want the other one? You want another one? Good, because I only need one, but they were listing both. And so I was like, I guess my sister. And then we can have matching socks. You like that?
I'm a drama teacher.
Yeah, so
I just bring the drama.
Perfect color for Che. Gabz will like the name. I should buy it. So it's just the Felici fingering weight. It's a 50 gram, which is perfect for us to make socks. That is my only acquisition that I have that's podcasting, but because we're not in Portland, Gabz and I are both doing vlogs. So I have more acquisitions that you can see if you want to watch our respective vlogs.
So I also came off of my yarn freeze to buy things from D-Stash for Good because, global warming, right? You don't have, it's not things unfreeze all the time. So I did the exact same thing my sister did. I saw 2 balls of Felici as well. And I only need one too. So I was just going to give the other one to my sister because these are loud, crazy colors. And it's a good Chailey name because they're called gummy bears.
Oh, I love gummy bear.
So we go on trade. We go on trade. We probably actually got it from the same person and probably should have been more organized and just tried to combine our shipping, but that's fine. I also sold stuff on D-Stash for Good. It was mildly stressful. So yes, that's know what you're agreeing to when you do it. Like it's a little bit stressful to get people, you need to get shipping, and then you need to get PayPal stuff, and then you have to mail it, and then shipping notifications, and it's a lot, but it's fine.
I don't know how my lady did it because she had listed 40 things.
Oh, it's because she's a yarn company.
Oh, because I was
Is a
like,
dyer. So like if you're
girl.
already a dyer, it's not so hard because you've got like a mailing system in place, but like we're not. So there was no mailing system in place. Like I had to go find the correct size mailer. And then I was mailing something to Canada. So then I had to make my husband vacuum pack it so it could fit. So there's that. But it was great. It's a great cause. I did my donation already. I donated the portion of the sales that I needed to, and now I've got this cute little nitpicks thing. Um, I think I've actually showed most of the stuff I acquired on my blog, except for this really cool thing that I have to show you, Chaylee.
Okay, eyeballs are peeled.
Look what I got at the thrift store.
Oh, look at that unicorn baggie.
Isn't it cute? It was $4 at
I
the thrift
like
store.
it.
So I've been looking at all the Black Pearl Magic bags and wanting them, but also they're significantly priced, which is fair, right? Which is what she should be charging for her things and all of that. We want to support local business, but I also was like, that's my whole budget. That's my whole budget for one of those big tote bags. So I was at the thrift store and saw this like tucked in the corner because I was looking in the little kids section because I was looking for my girls. And then I saw this and I was like, and then I looked at the price tag because I was nervous that there wasn't even a price tag on it because their policy at the store is if it doesn't have a price tag, it's not, you can't buy it that day. It has to go through the entire process again. So I was like, oh God, there's no price tag, but I found it. It's cute. The woman at the desk was like, oh, my granddaughter would love this. And I was like,
I'm sure she would.
And she's like, do you have kids? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not giving it to my kid. Lottie's seen it. She wants it too. So I agreed that we could share it because I don't use a project bag. You know what I mean? I rotate through them. So it's a little bit like mangled right now because I accidentally left it in my car last night. So the like plasticky stuff is like cold. But Jean, my sewing mother-in-law, says I can just run a hair dryer on it and smooth it back out. So that's what I'll do when I'm ready to use it. But isn't it so cute, Jay?
So cute.
I'm so excited.
What's the bottom like? Is it boxed?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's a box bottom. It's just hard to see because I mangled it in the car last night. See?
Yeah.
But look.
That is cute.
I know.
Put like a little.
No, it's just an open top.
Open.
But
okay.
I liked that, like, because the edge is smooth, right? So it's not gonna get my yarn's not gonna get caught on anything. So I'm like, this is awesome.
That's great.
It was surprisingly crowded at that thrift shop, like on a Friday afternoon. Like I was bumping into people.
Well, a lot of people had time off, right? Like yesterday, somehow I had no traffic on my way to work. It usually takes me 35, 40 minutes. It took me 20 minutes.
Interesting.
I don't know what happened. But okay, are we to the news?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't show my other thing in the vlog, so I'm gonna show it here. I also got this.
Oh, that's the thing you're giving to Daddy.
Yes, it is a yarn jigsaw puzzle. Dad really likes puzzles.
I bet I could get him to, if he doesn't want, because mom's not gonna want it in their house. I'll put it in my craft room if you don't want it.
That's what I figured. I was like, one or the two of us can put it up. It's really cool because it shows it's a 1,000-piece jigsaw that shows plant dyed balls of yarn from the plant dyeing workshops in southern Iceland.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that nifty? They had them at Fillery, which is my local yarn store, but I guess it wasn't that popular because they had like 8 of them.
Wow, should have gotten a lot of them. I guess they would have saved though.
Yeah, that was the bummer. But
well, you may be wondering why we're podcasting this week instead of doing a Rose City Yarn Crawl vlog.
And why we're bitter Betties.
And if you haven't gotten that hint from the entirety of this podcast, we were not able to go to the Rose City Yarn Crawl. We are both doing vlogs about this, and I know I already told this story in the vlog, but I'm telling it again. So the day before we were supposed to leave Wednesday. And our flights have been getting moved all over the place, even from when we bought the tickets, because we planned this in August. So we have been looking forward to this trip for it feels like millennia. And so Gabz calls me in a panic at 5 o'clock on Wednesday and is like, my flight got pushed to like 5:40 p.m. She was supposed to land at 8:35 a.m. And I was like, oh no. And it said because of weather. And I'm like, I haven't heard anything from my flights. Then we created this whole plan of like, okay, I'm gonna get us the show colorway from Till Torch Knit, who was going to be the trunk show at Weird Sisters. I like knew what I was going to do all day so I could go get my sister. And then we were going to we redid the entire itinerary to make sure we were both still going to hit all of the shops because Gab still wanted to go to all three, which is very fair. And I would want her to. And then Gabs checked in for her flight from it being moved. And then I want to say like an hour after that, I get an email from Alaska Airlines like, your flight's canceled. And watch your email for updates. They never sent me an update. So we started to do some research. Our dad called the hotel and they were saying that folks were calling them, letting them know that it was like what's normally a 30-minute drive from the airport was now a 2-hour drive from the airport because of the weather. So it had started to snow. It was starting to ice over. And it turns out they got I want to say 10 inches of snow, which is the second largest amount of snow that they've gotten since like the 40s. So it's a winter storm. We are from California, but we are from sunny California, and we're not really big snow girls. And I'm a pretty comfortable driver in most like unknown places, most terrains. I don't know how to drive in the snow. So it really wasn't going to be safe for us to go. I ended up calling my close friend who's from Portland, and I was like, I need you to tell me what to do. And he's like, girl, I wouldn't even go. And I'm from there. And I was like, noted. So then I called Gabz and we ended up canceling our entire trip, which is the most devastating thing. I think I cried like 3 times. As I mean, like, I think we both needed the break. We are really looking forward to it. And Gabs has some trouble with kids now all the time. And like, you know, when I travel, I'm by myself, which can get lonely. And so we were going to like have buddies, but also do whatever we wanted and change what we wanted. Because when you travel with your whole family, like, it's a lot of opinions and a lot of perspectives that you have to take into account. But when it's just Gabs and I, we kind of are like, you want to get corn dogs? Great. Let's get corn dogs. Like, here we are. So that's a huge bummer. We know we made the right choice, especially after all the like videos and things that we're seeing of being up there. Like, it would not have gone well. Stress would have been off the charts. I'm sick. It would have been really bad if I was sick and trying to drive us through the snow. And then my concern would have been, how are we getting home? Right? Because Gabs needed to be at work by Monday. So here we are, but we have done things to, I want to say, not make up for it, but treat ourselves for not being able to go. I know Gabs has been better at that than me because I ended up going to work for the last 2 days, which wasn't super awesome. So I was like, I love my job, but I was like, no, I have to go to my stupid job instead of going to Portland. And everything was like, if I was in Portland, I would be doing this. But it's been okay. I've done 1 yarn shop. I'm probably going to do 1 more after we're done podcasting. But I'm also taking it easy because I'm not feeling super great. But Gabs, do you want to share what you've been doing?
Yeah, I've been vlogging, but you know, my phone camera is excellent. So I did a bunch of other stuff, like got a haircut and like got my nails done, non-yarny things. But I went to Royal Bee Yarn Company up in Pacifica. I went to Uncommon Threads in Los Altos, both places that I wouldn't normally go to just because they're about an hour away, which isn't that far. But like Chili said, with my kids, like it's a lot to pack up my kids, put them in the car for an hour to go do something that there's nothing for them really to do, for me to walk around a yarn shop for 30-40 minutes to then come home and put them in another hour car, right? Like it's not that kid friendly, and it's cold. And then I went to Fillory. I walked around thrift stores. I've been knitting. Well, I've been struggling with my hat mostly, but we did do some shopping. We did do the virtual yarn crawl.
Oh, yes.
Which was, Chaylee was really good. So
I don't know what she was doing. Like,
so part of the virtual yarn crawl is you have to go to the website and then you have to find the magic word to put in their Google form, right? So we're both going there and like, I'm still typing and she's like, the magic word is this. And I'm like, not even on the website yet.
Like, I don't know what you're doing, dude.
And I type faster than Shaylee does.
She does. I'm not a fast typer.
No, and I'm very quick and I can type without looking and stuff like that all the time. I don't know. I was just
I
like,
don't know.
but did you tell on your vlog our Teal Torch knit story?
I did do that story on my vlog.
Me too. So if you want to watch how two different people tell the exact same describe the exact same situation, right? Because it was just me and Shay, how we bananas. Bananas.
I think I retold why we weren't going. I told our Teal Torch stories. I talked about us. I didn't talk about us as much virtual crawling, but watch our vlogs because it's just gonna be there's a lot to see, but also probably like a little bit of our sadness of not being able to go. But I think these things happen. Gabs, you have something coming up next weekend, which is fun too.
Yes. So, because of this storm, my parents and my family, we were supposed to go to Tahoe. But then because the storm was rolling in, we decided to postpone our Tahoe trip for the second time because last time we were going to Tahoe, the storm, the same storm that like battered the heck out of California was rolling in again. So I've moved our Tahoe trip to mid-April. And if it snows in mid-April, I'm like, we're done.
Cancel the trip.
We're not meant to go to Tahoe, people. So Stitches West is in Sacramento on next week. It's next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So when we canceled the Tahoe trip, I was like, "Ooh, Dad, let's go to Stitches West." And he's like, "Okay, Gabs." And I was like, "Well, I can drive myself." And he's like, "Nah, I'll go with you." So we're going on Sunday because Sunday is the day that the marketplace is open for free. It is open Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well. But the tickets are like $14 or $15 each day.
Yeah.
And I don't mind going on the last day. Like if there's a show colorway you want, definitely go Thursday or Friday.
Right.
It'll probably be sold out. Sometimes some dyers like hold back a certain amount. I know Destination Yarn did that when she came. She held back some, but it was still super hectic like that.
We like ran in. I think I left you.
No, remember that time when you weren't there and it was so Destination Yarn, we really like her work as well. She does like themed for the area for the destination. So Chaley wasn't there and it was my husband and my parents, and you wanted the mini skeins. You wanted the California Coast mini skeins.
I did.
Yeah. And it was like
no, it was the Paris ones.
Oh, okay. It was something. And it was like it was like some kind of exclusive. And so we were there at the starting line at 10 or whatever. And my husband, my husband's 6'3". I don't know if
this was also before you had children. So
yes,
we had no qualms or responsibilities.
right. And I was in like excellent shape because it was right after our wedding. So I had been running like 6 miles there. So my husband goes like tearing down the aisle to go as soon as they're like, and the market's open, to get Chaley the thing. And same with me. And we ended up with like the last of the show colorways or something super hectic like that.
He just like he could hold all the things in his hand.
Yeah. And that's what I usually do is I make my husband or I make Dad hold the things because they're like kind of like stern looking.
They're also kind of hulking. Dad looks like he's very serious in his resting face. He's not that serious as a but he doesn't have a very approachable look, if you will. So it's like, just stand by this, Dad.
Yeah. Or I'm like, I want this, Dad. And then he'll go get it. And then he'll just have it. And then like, because he's like, he's serious. He wears like his sunglasses and hat a lot of times. He's got a bunch of tattoos. So he's like,
yeah, not your average knitter.
No, not what you would. And he doesn't wear knitwear, right? Like he doesn't wear knitwear to
no things. He wears like his like special zip up fabletics, like
right. He
reflected.
He crochets, so he's definitely a crafter. But because like he doesn't look what people think crafters, but it also doesn't help because he doesn't wear it, right? Like I think if he wore his knitted or crocheted items, it would be different. But because he doesn't wear it, he has them. Like I made him a Musselburgh hat. He has them. He just doesn't wear them. So we're going.
Mom is dead weight, so you can't.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna leave you behind, Mom.
She's like, just like, Mom.
I know.
We need her
We're
on a
like,
leash.
yeah. So Stitches in Sacramento, so it's about an hour and a half from my house. So I'm gonna drive to San Leandro, drop my oldest with mom, and then dad and I are going to drive to Sacramento on
Sunday.
Sunday. And there is a solid group of youths. Mostly looks like West Coast dyers who are showing up, which is fine. Teal Torch Knits is gonna be there. So I may go. I really like her dyeing style. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna do that. I'm excited. I was like, "Do you want to take a class, Dad?" He's like, "No." And I'm like,
I think that's what we talked about doing next year, though, because of our sadness around our yarn crawl, is that maybe we'll do a longer experience at Stitches West, where we'll both sign up for a class, maybe stay in Sacramento. They have really great yarn shops in that area. Plus, also, then we don't have to deal with flights because we can always adjust our plans if we're driving, which is always my preference because I'm kind of a control freak. And I can control the driving. I can't control the airlines. So
it makes it easier too because we can also always just bail on Sacramento and it's close enough to where I live and where our parents are that it's not like hotel. Like if we have to cancel that hotel, it's not like, oh my God, we have no place to stay, right? Like if
right.
something goes awry, because sometimes things go awry with us in hotels that we're not stuck. I may go down to see my sister for Stitches SoCal as well, which is the same situation that like my in-laws are down there, Chaley's down there. We also know the area, right? Like
Yes, I live here. Like
Che lives there. I went to college. I went to grad school in Irvine, so it's not as like unknown. We still want to go to Portland. I still want to we still want to try and do the yarn crawl. We also need to shout out how great Weird Sisters Yard has
yeah,
been
they've
to
been
us
wonderful. Go ahead.
because of our Teal Torch Knits situation. They didn't have we wanted the colorway. They DM'd us when they put it online instead of like they didn't have to. They like definitely went above and beyond. Like we could have paid attention to their Instagram and we weren't because we were doing other stuff, but that was really cool. I'm so excited for it. I'm gonna cast those socks on as soon as I get that yarn.
Honestly, all the other shops have been really nice too. Like
Yes.
Ritual Dyes has Wandering something yarns.
Wandering Flock. I really want some. Is that it's got
Yeah,
it's like neon pastel, if that's even a like
it's really cool.
it doesn't make sense, but if you see their yarn, you're like, oh, neon pastel.
And we're like, oh, we're gonna be there, or it's gonna be canceled. And they're like, well, we're doing Zoom offerings. We're like, we'll Zoom you, and you can look at all the stuff. And I'm like, I think that's really cool that they're doing that because a lot of folks are able to go and are like, I sent you the thing that some person walked to 4 different yard stores in the snow. I'm like, this is wild. Like,
Yeah, that it's like it's epic. But I saw an article that it was like cars were abandoned on the freeway because they were too iced and like engine blocks were freezing and stuff like that. So I'm like, this was a good choice in not going, but we're still disappointed, right? Because
totally.
and like last year Chaley got to go, but I definitely couldn't go. Like it wasn't like, oh, I just decided not to go.
No, you had a fresh baby.
I was only 8 weeks postpartum and I had a C-section. So I wasn't solid to travel by myself. I wasn't like, I was mobile, but not where I felt like safe solo traveling. And I didn't really want to leave my newborn either.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe next year when the weather
We'll see.
we'll do Stitches West. Hopefully next year, Stitches SoCal. We're hoping.
We'll try maybe San Diego Yarn Crawl. We have, if anyone knows of any coming up, preferably West Coast.
Also July. If y'all know
like
how
summer is good.
yeah, July, like I'm really having trouble finding any on the West Coast in July.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we've totally overlooked something, please tell us. I really want to go to the Knitting in the Hill Country retreat that Nitty Natty is going to next weekend, but it's the same weekend as Stitches also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
well,
I want to do that.
My son is out though, so I gotta go so that I can get to Long Beach while it's not raining.
Oh yeah, because you're going to Alamitos Bay.
Yes. So while it's sunny right now, I'm gonna try and zoom over there and zoom right back before the rain picks up again.
Sounds. I don't have any other yarn store plans. Maybe I'll go to Pop of Color in Morgan Hills. I've vlogged not at all today.
Fab. Awesome. Well, thank you for sticking through us through our sadness, but also all the things that we have to share. Keep your eyeballs peeled for our vlogs, and we'll see you soon. Bye.